What's up, y'all? Today I'm gonna be covering an important chapter in One Piece, chapter 1188. For those who don't want to listen to the spoilers, you can skip the video, or if you don't particularly care about hearing about spoilers, please watch the video, like, comment, subscribe. But today I'm gonna talk about the humbling of Monkey D. Luffy, specifically a four in the form that everybody in the One Piece community have a mix, feelings for, aka Gear 5. For those who don't know, Gear 5 Luffy lost to Big Moo, aka Imusama, who's the current main antagonist of the story so far. Because a lot of people think Blackbeard is gonna be the main antagonist. I'm hoping too that he's also the main antagonist for One Piece, but it's okay. But for some reason, everybody's also celebrating the downfall of Gear 5 Luffy, because it's a form that everybody in the One Piece community likes to compare it with, Super Saiyan in Dragon Ball. Even though it doesn't have the same comparison or the same impact to the whole generation like Super Saiyan did, but it's a cool, comparison. But personally, I'd compare it with, Sage of Six Path Naruto during the fourth Great Shinobi World War. But it's neither here or there. I have like this certain, mixed emotions and mixed reactions to the chapter itself. We just see Luffy. This I'm just giving a background of the story. Uh, in that chapter, okay, Luffy was fighting, Imu, doing a crazy, transformation, turned into like a genie for some reason. I don't know why. And then he started fighting, but Imu was dominating the fight, like putting belt to ass on Luffy, to be brutally honest. Then suddenly, uh what happened after? Oh yeah, Imu Sama hit Luffy with a punch that was similar to Snake Man gear. Yeah, gear for Snake Man, during the whole you know, uh, King Cobra. Yeah, he hit. It was similar to King Cobra because it was like, and then it hit Luffy down to the floor. And then Imu, was disrespected. He felt disrespected because of Luffy, because Luffy was a weaker comparison to the actual Joy Boy. So Imu, summoned a great sword and then stabbed Luffy through the chest. And everybody from different social media platforms were giving their own reaction. People were scared, traumatized, and some guy also commented saying that, oh my god, this is the first ever shonen story in a long time where it shows the main character being stabbed through the chest. Even though I'm like, yeah, it's true, kinda, but we already seen countless of main characters getting their chest blown open or ripped apart by their main antagonist of the certain arc or the certain part of the story. For example, Ichigo versus Ukiura, Naruto versus Pain, Goku versus Moro. For those who watches Dragon Ball Super manga as well. But the thing that made me interested into talking today was the reactions and also the people's inputs. People were actually celebrating because people wanted to see Luffy be humbled, and they, some of the community also have like this certain disdain, this hatred towards Gear 5 Luffy and what he stands for. Because One Piece, it's no matter how much Oda tries to make it lighthearted and that anymore. Because pre-time skip, yeah, you can say that it was a bit lighthearted. It still had its serious moments, but it was a bit lighthearted compared to the currently. Because now currently, One Piece has fully delved into being more political, showing the harsh cruelty of the world government, celestial dragons, and all the negativity in the world. And I'm sure he created Gear 5 Luffy into thinking in his thinking process envisioning that it's gonna be a transformation where Luffy's like free, does his own thing. He's like basically Joy Boy. Literally, he's Joy Boy. Like just a happy go lucky smiling guy all the time. But the problem is, it's just gonna be like kind of a weird like situation to put him into because a lot of people during the day back before Gear 5 was even a thing, they theorized that Luffy was gonna have like a transformation called Gear Death or something like that, and people memed upon it because it was too edgy, it was too, oh my god, it's too serious, acting like watching a serious main protagonist is a bad thing, which is something that made me be like, what the hell are you guys even talking about? Because Gear Death, yes, looking back, it was too edgy because it was like an inclination of Snake Man and whatever. I remember ABD, enemy balls deep predicted Gear 5, but it wasn't like Joy Boy and whatever. It was like Gear 5 Tiger Man or something where it was during the Wano arc where Kaido and Luffy were fighting and ABD were theorizing that Luffy's gonna unlock like Gear 5 Tiger Man, to for that representation or of a dragon versus tiger in like I think it's Japanese mythology or something like that, which was gonna be interesting too. But Gear 5 right now is actually okay, but I don't like people disrespecting, saying it's like One Piece isn't too serious because they are the same people who get excited or bust at the scene of Luffy having this image of evil or just menacing aura or something like that. They are the first people to go crazy, and that's where I'm like, okay, let's be honest. We like a edgy protagonist, not like super super edgy, just like a protagonist who takes things serious, and that was Luffy when it comes to fighting the main bad guy or the main antagonist. He gets serious, and that's the problem with Gear 5. He doesn't take any fight serious unless it's like an opponent that's like super serious, like Emu for example, where Luffy doesn't have the upper hand and Oda himself is real. And I think that's the like the main thing. Oda actually realized that he can't write a story with a protagonist whose ability is just to make people laugh and just happy, not in a sense where everybody's excited to see Joy Boy. The only people in the story that are actually excited to see Joy Boy is the Giants and people who know their Void Century. Oh, also the Lunarians and the Minks, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So basically, people who know about Joy Boy, because if Luffy just goes out here, everybody's first reaction is just to be shocked, like eye gouging, and also the sound effects is also annoying in effect. Like not even kind, it's a lot annoying because it's just reusing the same old sound effects over and over. And I think people also felt like Gear 5 is gonna be like one of the strongest transformation onto anime because it quote unquote had, Toon Force, where it wasn't actually Toon Force. It was like if you wanted to say it's Toon Force, it was like Diet Toon Force, like Toon Force Light because bro didn't warp reality or do some crazy attacks where it was defining physics or anything like that. It was just like cool, like oh okay, that's nice, but that's it. Like me personally, I like Gear 5, but I don't like it being like not taking things serious to the point where everybody's like hating on it because that's the current situation in One Piece. Everybody hates Gear 5 in a sense where, not everybody, I mean, like a small portion, or let me just say 50% of the One Piece community hates Gear 5 because it doesn't take anything serious to the point where people are excited to see Luffy get humbled, getting pierced through the stomach. Everybody was cheering up. If your first thought of seeing Luffy getting pierced through the chest by a sword or by a weapon by the main antagonist, everybody's first reaction should be like, "Oh my God, is Luffy okay? I'm scared." But no, everybody's literally excited to see Luffy getting, stabbed through the chest, like blood gushing out. Like you'd swear like Luffy beat Emu at that point, judging by the way everybody's so excited on how Luffy, got humbled by Imu. But I hope that either Oda realizes that he can't write the story where the main antagonist or the main when the main person is just you know useless, or like not useless, when the main antagonist is not the main antagonist, the protagonist is just too lucky go, just happy and positive, not positive. Oh my god, I'm losing my words. Not positive, not like him realizing that he can't write the enemy protagonist that's too carefree, that he doesn't take the fight serious unless somebody gets hurt in front of him. And yeah, that's just my rant about the current situation we have with Gear 5, Luffy, and people celebrating its downfall. And yeah, this is Matt shining out. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see y'all in the next one.